Hey guys, welcome to our Below Deck Med after show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Today we have not one, but two special guests, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yay! What was the significance of the song again?
Jimi Hendrix, he's guitarist.
Chef Ben.
For Chef Ben, there
Yes,
you go.
His
perfect.
food
Chef Ben.
It's like the Jimi Hendrix of music.
I loved
Perfect.
that. That was
was
cool.
good.
I'm so sad that the season is ending. I can't believe it. But
I
welcome
know.
you guys to our after show. We have the beautiful Tiffany Copeland with us on Skype, so we're going to talk to her in a second. And later we will have executive producer Nadine with us. I'm your host, Jamie Banks, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JamieBanks_, and with me.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Angela Struck. You can find me on Twitter at @TheAngelaStruck and on Instagram and Snapchat at Angela Struck.
What's up, guys? I'm Michael Rippe. You can find me all over social media at Mike Rips, MikeRips.
And with us is Tiffany.
Naughty Yachty.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Where are you right now?
I'm over in Italy working on a boat.
That's so awesome. It looks so beautiful.
Looks gorgeous.
What time is it right now?
It's almost like 6:30.
Ah, looks so relaxing.
So Tiffany, I have a couple questions, and I kind of just erased them after tonight's episode and went to a new one. I have one question. Are you in contact with Hannah?
Yeah, I talk to her almost daily, actually.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay.
Who have you stayed in touch with the most from? Because we've been kind of, following you on Twitter and trying to figure out who, your love interests ended up being, whether it was Brian or Ben or what. So who do you kind of hang out with and keep in touch with now?
I mostly hang out with Brian, actually. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. I see Ben sometimes, but I keep in contact mostly with Hannah.
Nice.
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 So let's talk about your Twitter handle, because your Twitter handle name, the Naughty Yachty, is incredible. So what's the inspiration behind it, and where did it come from?
Well, I've only been in yachting for 2 years, but I wanted something a little bit nautical, but a little bit of a play on words. So I was like, this sounds like a fun one. I don't want to be boring and just have Tiffany Copeland,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be different.
You know what I thought was really cool about you, Tiffany, and we kind of spoke about this, I think it was the last episode or the one before, that, some people hold grudges. Hannah kind of came at you strong in the beginning and kind of was aggressive with you, and you were really quick to kind of forgive her and understand where she was coming from and move forward and, have a great season with everyone. Where does that come from, that part of you that also Ben was saying that's, just easygoing? What do you, I don't know,
no.
just speak to
chillness.
your chillness.
Rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
I think it's because I drink so much wine. No, I don't know. I've always been like that. I don't want to hold grudges. I don't want to yell and scream at anyone. It doesn't solve any problems. And yachting's stressful enough as it is.
Yeah.
So why not just try to get along? We're living in close quarters. It's easier just to get along, honestly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So in the season finale on tonight's episode, Tiffany, you said that Ben is your future husband. So now I want to know, is Ben still your future husband? And if not, is there a different future husband? Where are we at with this?
I only said that because I usually date younger guys, so I call myself Mrs. Robinson, and he just happens to have the last name that I need. So, but no, I'm still single. I country hop too much to even date.
Yeah, that's so fun. What's one of your favorite places you've traveled to through yachting?
Ooh, I really like the Bahamas, even though it's close to home. It's just so pretty. The Med, I'm kind of, it's okay.
So let us know, what position are you now in? Because you said you're not a third stew anymore, or you didn't
No.
want to do it again.
I'm actually a mate, and I have my captain's license.
Oh,
that.
congratulations.
Awesome.
Congratulations, yeah.
And that's impressive. It only took you 2 years in the yachting industry. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I've been on boats a lot, so I've racked up my sea time.
Got it.
So once the season ended and you returned, I guess maybe to Fort Lauderdale, you're now in Italy, but have you been other places? How many different yachts have you been on? I mean, what's it been like?
I freelanced a little bit and then did my captain's course and then pretty much got this job. So I've been on here, I think, since March. And we did a little bit of Bahamas, a little bit of the Keys, and then they bought a new, bigger boat over in Italy. So now we're here.
Very cool.
What do the people on the boat that you work with, what do they think of your whole below deck med experience?
Yeah.
They're like, you would. I didn't tell my captain when he hired me that I was on it. I had to break the news to him. He's like, oh my God, no, you didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. But my owners love the fact that I'm on there, so it's great.
Are you more recognizable now whenever you're maybe off the yacht or on the yacht with just random people now that have seen the show?
So I was gonna say, yeah.
It's so weird. I'm actually getting recognized over here in Italy and Monaco. Like,
Really?
I never expected to be recognized in the Med. Like Florida, Fort Lauderdale, yeah, but here, like, wait, you know me?
And what are people's reactions? What do they kind of say to you when they spot you?
The first few times I got spotted, they said, oh my God, you're on that show. Your chief stew's a bitch. I'm just like, oh, okay, keep watching. Now they're like, oh my God, I love you. I love that you drink out of a bottle. Like, that's so funny.
Yes.
That's funny.
That's so fun. I always love that you had a background in marine biology. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I've always been obsessed with manatees ever since probably 6th grade and living in Florida. And I moved to Ohio when I was 8, came back when I was 18, back to Florida, and I was like, all right, I need to do something with manatees. So that's why I went to school, was for them. But the money wasn't too good. It was mostly working for like $7 an hour or free. So I went into dredging and, kind of got into boats from there. And then I realized that sucked and I didn't want to do any more winters in the cold. So now I can do winters where it's warm. And that's awesome. I still get to be on a boat.
It's a smart,
Volunteer and do manatee stuff.
It's a smart plan. How did you come upon being on Below Deck Med? Did you watch the original Below Deck and say you wanted to maybe be a part of the cast, or was it a random way? I mean, how did that happen?
I've always watched it. It's always been my guilty pleasure. And I met Adrian through my ex-boyfriend, and I thought she was so awesome. And everyone's always told me, like, oh my God, Tiff, you belong on this show. I'm like, all right, let's just apply and see what happens.
Amazing.
So
Very
I have
cool.
a question too. So was Ben a good hookup, and did he make you breakfast?
I don't think I got breakfast. I did later though, back in Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, it was good.
It was good. All right.
That's funny.
One more question about Ben, more about his food though, because the whole season and forever since he's been on Below Deck, everybody raves about his chef skills. So do you have a favorite dish that Ben made, or what would you say is his best dish from the guest point of view?
I never even got to see most of the meals because I was doing heads and beds when the meals were going out.
Okay.
And our food was a little bit different than what the guests get.
Oh, okay.
So does he makes your food though too? He makes the cruise food too. Okay, interesting.
What does he make for you guys, like peanut butter jelly?
Got a lot of chicken because Jen doesn't really eat a variety of food.
Yeah.
Chicken
Yeah,
and rice.
I remember that. Yeah.
What was your relationship like with her?
It was close. Obviously she's my roommate, and she was the only normal girl on the boat, I thought.
Oh, question for you too. With Julia and Bobby's situation, did you feel that she was flirting, or did you feel like he kind of, took her sweetness the wrong way? What was your impression?
I think it was a little bit of both, but I think it was more Bobby taking the sweetness the wrong way. And I kept saying to her, I'm like, look, you need to have a chat with him. I told her maybe 3 times. I'm like, you need to have a chat with him again.
Yeah.
Still coming off the wrong way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you touch someone's butthole.
Right.
Did you think that the love profession was a little strong, or what was your opinion on that when he confessed his love for her?
I was shocked that he did that. Because I was over at the bar when that was happening, and I'm like, really? You just dropped the L-bomb on her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, no. It was sweet, and I'm glad he said his piece.
Yeah.
Before we get you out of here, I know it's early morning for you, so thank you again for joining us. But what were your final takeaway or thoughts about the entire crew and your captain and just your experience on Below Deck Mediterranean?
I hate to say it because I don't want to be that guy, but I got along with everyone, but watching what Danny did to my crew, that shit pissed me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we got along really well.
Yeah, interesting. So you didn't really kind of have an idea of how bad he was being until you watched later.
I had no idea, and I had his back, and I was always telling him, lay low, do your work, and nope, he would just do the opposite, and Ben tried to, so.
Yeah, that's interesting, because they never really showed your opinion on the show about the whole Danny situation, now that I think about it, so that makes sense, because you weren't really paying attention too much to it, or just didn't know.
I saw enough now.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, question for you: are you going to come back next season if there is a next season?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of really like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they make me as a mate.
Maybe you'll be the new Captain Mark on the next season.
Yeah, that would be
Tiffany.
awesome. A female captain. Well, thank you, Tiffany.
I don't have a big enough license for that, but.
Thank you so much. We know it's very early in the morning, but thanks for taking the time out of your day to see us.
Best of luck to you.
Yes, and congrats again.
All right.
And enjoy beautiful Italy.
I will.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
She's so cute. I love her.
She's so cute.
Aw. Well,
That's
in
awesome.
a moment, we're going to be speaking with the executive producer, Nadine.
That's right.
But overall, what were your guys' thoughts on this episode?
Surprising. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that just came out of nowhere. The Bobby, I love you to Julia.
Yes.
We tied up a lot of loose ends though, because we started with the whole theme about kind of Chef Ben and Tiffany kind of having a thing, but then Brian came in and swooped in, and then they kind of closed it out though by rendezvousing, and then Hannah was again interested in Ben and really let loose that she really was into him. She said he was like someone she had never, like basically the number one person for her.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of interesting things. Also, it was interesting to see that while Danny was gone, they started the episode again with a lot of drama without him being there.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to play out.
But nonetheless, my overall take on tonight's episode in general was a great season. It was so much
Definitely.
fun to cover it.
Thanks. Well, we have on Skype, we have Nadine Rajabi. Let's say hi to her. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Nadine.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
How's it going?
Good. You guys get my producer glasses on. They're trying to glare.
yeah.
Well, I would just like to say, at least I'm sure for all of us, that you did a tremendous job bringing together a crew, a cast, and producing quite a show that's it's enlightened us and made us want to come back every week and talk about it.
Thank you so much. You know what's really crazy about this series is I joined Below Deck in season 3, so the season where Rocky jumped off the boat, basically.
Yes.
And when they when they offered the Med, it was like our biggest thing and I moved over to the Med. The biggest thing was like, are people going to watch? Are people going to get that this is a franchise? Are people going to care? Like, how do we because it's not like a Housewives where it's like, there's an Orange County and there's a New York, and obviously that was the ultimate goal, but are people going to understand that? Mm-hmm. And I was really worried because the first 2 episodes were so much setup where it's like, I hope people can just stick with it, because we knew we had a gold mine in the field, because it was just, it was like bananas. Like, I can't even explain what we went through in the field. As you watch, there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that couldn't even make the show because there just isn't enough show real estate, but it was crazy, and it was a lot of fun, and it was different than I think than the Caribbean. It was a different energy.
So is bringing Chef Ben into the cast in the Med a big part of that then? So people kind of drew the connection between the shows?
I think so. I think that was a big thing, and I think the other thing is also it felt like a natural fit, because it wasn't, people that work in the Caribbean, in the winter they go over to the Med in the summer, so it wasn't an unnatural,
right.
like connection in that sense. But also, it's like you it was a big thing on my part. But it's kind of like, yes, people know and love Ben, and it was a great entry into a new franchise, I guess.
Yeah.
Chef Ben is a great kind of person to display a show around. I mean, he's just an ideal character, I feel like. What would you say that the biggest difference is between Below Deck and Below Deck Mediterranean?
Yeah.
I think that the biggest difference is it's funny, I haven't experienced obviously the Med because I've never chartered a yacht as far as, but the one thing that I got from everyone else, they were saying that it's they don't put on, and they talked about it on the show, it's like they don't do theme parties, they don't do, and they did because of the American guests here, but I think a lot of our you know, like Hannah and Julia and people that are used to working in the Med, it's like they're not used to doing the more American things of the theme parties, of the fancy drinks. I remember there was one, I think it was the first episode, we just didn't have enough time, but like there was a moment where it was Hannah and Julia when they asked for a craft cocktail, and like the poor little, like, like it was the sweetest thing. They're like, what's a craft cocktail? They had to Google it because it was it's like they don't have that in Europe. It's like they're just going to get a vodka soda or like a gin and tonic or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting because I think the clientele is very different. I think the energy, I mean, for this cast, because it was all brand new, I think it was interesting because, you know, they'd never been on TV. They're all yachties, so it's not like, and I think half of them hadn't even watched the show, which is very good because I think it's like, I think when you have a first season, it's like you want everything to be as natural as possible, because our job as producers is we don't want to interfere. It's like we need you to do your job, and we will just sit back and like be a fly on the wall, and that's the biggest thing, is like we don't want to interfere. And it's funny because, and I might be skipping ahead, but you know, reading Twitter, a lot of the people are like, oh, why wasn't Danny fired sooner? Or why did this happen? Why did that happen? It's like, well, we can't interfere with their job. So like if Danny's making out with a charter guest and, you know, with the Tilted Kilt girls, you know, Jen saw it, but that's up to Jen to tell the captain or whoever else. It's like, that's not production. Like we can't interfere. So if he didn't get fired because it was like nobody told captain. So I as a producer, I can't go on and go, hey, captain, like this is what happened. You can't interfere with their job.
Interesting.
Because it's a working yacht. It's like you still have a chart. Like Ben still has to cook for, you know, 4 to 13 people depending on the charter, and you know, Hannah still has to serve all these drinks or deal with those obnoxious guests or whatever it is.
So are you actually on the boat with them? Like how many crew members, and I mean production crew members, are on the ship with?
Well, we take over a stateroom in the boat. So basically, you know, one of the boats or one of the rooms that are like not used, production takes over, where we have all the monitors, where we have everything. So it'll be, you know, Mark Cronin, who created the show and who's a showrunner on the show, is the genius mind behind so many shows. He's in the control room. It's me. It's 2 producers and a director, and then you'll have, you know, a logistics person. But we have to keep it we have to keep such a light footprint because we don't want to get in the way of anybody or anything. And we never leave that room, by the way, ever. It's like if we have to go to the bathroom, it's like we go to the bathroom in our stateroom, and you know, all our camera people are all in black, and they're, you know, they try to stay out of the way. And like I think that the biggest thing with the first season is people that aren't used to the cameras. Like Ben's used to having the cameras around and just can do his job, but like they're very self-aware. So it takes a couple days to kind of get these guys, like, you know, and everyone's kind of dressed in blacks. Like we don't want to be seen, and we don't want to interfere. That's our biggest thing.
Fly on the wall. It sounds like
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of reality shows, I can kind of see the cameramen occasionally in some shots, but now that I think about it, I never saw one this entire show.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny if you do see one, like after we like edit the episode and watch it 50 billion times, and we're sitting here in color, like when we color correct it and try to make it look pretty, it's like every once in a while you'll see a camera, but in a way, and it's like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. The yacht is literally like tiny. Like the fact that Ben can put together a whole meal in like this galley while Hannah and Julia are making drinks and Tiffany's making drinks, and like, you know, like the deckhands are in and out, and there's still like a camera person in there.
I was always thinking
That's funny, yeah.
It's pretty, and you know, we have a lot of surveillance, and that helps us so much. It's like, because without the surveillance footage, it's like, it's not, you know, you miss it. And I think the biggest thing with a show like this, and it's, you know, I've worked on a lot of different types of shows, and for me, this is my favorite show because it's so real and so like, it's so fast. Like if you can miss something so quickly, and it's like, it's so much just running, or like, oh my God, what just happened? And it's literally like just I mean, it's insane. It's so real.
I feel like part of it is they really have a job to do, and they're so busy that they don't have time to invent stories. So it's very real. If anybody, like, and I always read Twitter, it's like, oh, this is scripted. It's like, yeah, I couldn't even write this shit. Are you kidding me?
I wish I was that creative. It's like, it's like, it's impossible. It's too fast. It's like, there's no, I mean, everyone on that boat can attest. It's like, it's not like a secret thing. You're like, oh, there's a fake storyline. It's like, it's not at all. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. And it's a real working like that. And that's the thing. It's like, that's why I love this show. It's so real. It's like, and when you're editing it, it's like, I remember when I first started the show, and I had a couple of my editors that were new to the show, and I was like, hey guys, I'm really sorry. A lot of this is single camera. There isn't a lot of coverage. And I remember the editor saying, are you kidding me? This is why we started editing, because this stuff is so real that we can't, it's like, you can't make this up. Like, we don't mind the single camera coverage. It makes us get creative about stuff.
So Nadine, speaking of footage and having so much footage, you produced 13 episodes.
Yes.
What's the time frame in creating one episode? I mean, how much footage are we sifting through, and the time frame to create just one specific episode?
Well, here's an interesting fact that I was, because we were going over all like the storage and stuff like that. On a normal reality show, just an average one, maybe not a Housewives because they have like over 20 episodes, but let's just say like maybe a Shaw's or some. I mean, I don't even know how much footage they have, but typically a reality show will have, with the amount of footage, 9 terabytes of footage, maybe 12, right, for the whole series. Each one of our episodes is 9 terabytes. So you're basically, there's like a series within every episode, because we have thousands of hours of footage. I mean, we have I think we had 900, they made fun of me actually at the office that I shot 957 surveillance tapes. And over 700 regular just camera footage. If you multiply that by however much a disc holds, I mean, we have so much footage, and then we've got producers that like are assigned to every episode that has to just go. They're responsible for their episode. So when we get back, it's like our job is, how do we make this thousands of hours of footage and shrink it to 43 minutes without messing up the integrity of what was said? Because obviously everyone's like, oh, they cut this out, or was the editing? It's like, you guys, we can't put 2,000 hours of footage on an episode. Like, it's impossible. But, our job is to try to make it as, we don't mess the integrity of the scene. We literally just try to shrink it down the best we can.
How do you select the charter guests? Some of them were kind of very stereotypical Americans that I feel like, kind of irked Hannah and some of the other Europeans. Do you purposely kind of pick oddballs, or do you just is it just by chance? I mean, I
think it's by chance, honestly, and this is just my total opinion, and this is like, I hope this is literally strictly my opinion. Nobody backs me up on this one, because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, this is what it is. But I think that people, I mean, I don't know what they did first season, but I think that people watch the show, and like, I think that like the one thing that money can't buy is fame. And I think that, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but like, I think some people that have a lot of money want to be on TV or be recognized, or they think it's fun. And it's like, it's the same way with some of the Housewives. It's like, you can't buy fame, and some people crave that fame. And I think that that's become the beast of Below Deck and of reality TV. It's like, you've got people with money, and it's like, well, if they could pay to charter this yacht, then like, why not? Like, that's just going to get you instant exposure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Great. Well, thank you. Or did you have a last question?
I was just curious. Did any of your crew or the video guys, did anyone ever get tipped outside of the charter crew?
No. The only extra tip they got was Danny, and he had to split it among the crew members.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Great.
Which I don't think that was his choice.
Sure.
Right. We remember.
Well, before we let you go, we'll get you out of here in a second. Can you tell us, because you've produced many shows, what are you producing outside of Below Deck Med, and where can the guests and everyone that's listening and watching find you?
Well, they could. My Instagram is at Nadine Rajabi, NADINERAJABI, and that's the same as Twitter and on Facebook. I host a Shaw's of Sunset after show for BravoTV.com, so they can just go on the Shaw's page from Bravo on BravoTV.com, and that show's morphed from, I've interviewed them in a bathtub, and now it's more, I'm just at their house doing a straight up interview. But I do miss the interview in the bathtub, which was really fun. That show's called The Shots Come Clean with Nadine. And I am a stand-up, and so they could check my website or Facebook or whatever it is. So I do, I do shows around town, and it's how I started. I fell into reality TV, but I'll never, I'll never quit stand-up till the day I die. And yeah, and I'm, if Below Deck Med comes back, I mean, God willing, then I'm working on Below Deck 4 right now, so that's going to be coming up like literally in a month and a half.
That's
so
new information.
Breaking news to all of our fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and you did a fantastic job on the entire
By the way,
season.
I think they've announced that Below Deck 4 is coming out in about a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess we don't know the exact
we didn't
dates.
know. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in September sometime. I'll have to look, and otherwise I'm in trouble. Sorry about
No.
No,
Don't be sorry.
I'm sure it's out there. We just didn't know about it. Yeah.
I didn't know the specific month. Great. Well, thank you so much for
Awesome.
being with us tonight.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the coverage. You guys have been so wonderful, and I know it's funny because you guys may not know, but there's always like all this aftermath drama between our crew members or cast members because they're like tweeting this, and they'll call Nadine. Someone said something on AfterBuzz TV, and I'm like, well, you know what? We're getting coverage, and it's not your fault. It's like because it's people going head to head, and you guys are amazing. I'm really, really grateful for all the coverage, and you guys are doing a great work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much. We appreciate it.
We'll talk to you down the road.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
It's so funny. People are talking about it. It's
Oh,
like, they
man.
said this. That's hilarious.
That was awesome.
Really
Both
fun.
Tiffany and Nadine, that was great.
Very informative that so many, I had no idea that they take over a stateroom and that there's such a large production crew on the boat with them because both, even though it's a big yacht, it's still a small space.
Absolutely, and they have to stay in that room. That was a great question by you to find that out for us. Yeah, I was interested.
Okay,
Yeah.
so much. I feel like we don't have that much time, so let's just skip to the bonfire because I feel like that was just a really fun night. So first they're drinking and they're having fun with Captain, and then that was kind of funny. He's throwing him back, and then he's like, "All right, good night, guys."
Yeah.
And then when he leaves, I feel like everything just starts to go down. And then we have Hannah and Ben in the bar, and they're kind of flirting, and I don't know. She said she loved him, but did you feel like it was "I love you, or was it more like a friend, "I love you"?
I think there's alcohol, but I think she has feelings for him. I think it's very
Hannah?
clear. Yeah, she has strong feelings for Ben. I mean, maybe she doesn't now, whatever, but I think definitely at that time, call it a camp love or whatever, but she was very smitten by him, and I think she wanted last night to have a little hookup with him or something, and maybe see where it would take them. I think he has a flirtation with her, but I think he also knows that if he's in with Hannah, it's going to be a full-on thing.
Yeah.
And I think he wasn't really looking for that, kind of what she said. I think he was just kind of looking for a fun last night. And Tiffany's a fun, easygoing girl and, had no expectations. So...
Yeah, I think Ben's smart enough to not want to mix business and pleasure and pleasure. So that's what kind of is the barrier between them two. Yeah. And I think we saw early in the season that Ben and Tiffany had something originally, and then Brian kind of swooped in that night, one of the early episodes. Yeah. But I want to go back to Hannah for a second because I know early in the season I was a little bit harsh on her, but it's been really great to see her evolution throughout the season, and some of the things I really enjoyed kind of culminated with tonight's episode. In that one point she talked about the unspoken code in yachting about protecting your crewmates. Yes. I thought that showed a genuineness about Hannah that was really sweet, and it was cool how she said that sparkle in Ben's eye always gets her. Do you guys see that sparkle in Ben's eye?
He's just got a little something to him, an it factor that it just kind of draws people in, I think, and he's so cheeky and snarky and funny and cute, and he giggles and he smiles, and I think he's a nice presence.
Someone
to have around.
that has that energy about them that it brightens whoever is around them day. He can get along with anyone, which is really great, and he's obviously a great cook.
They would be a cute couple for sure.
Absolutely. If they weren't on the boat together, who knows? But they might be a little spicy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Also, speaking of the bonfire, I thought it was neat that the Captain Mark came out and took a Jaeger bomb. Mm-hmm. That was really cool to see,
cute.
right?
He was like, we take these together.
We take them together.
He didn't know how it worked.
And it was really awesome way to end this season and the whole show for season 1 of Below Deck Med, that they were able to crush the tip and do the best of all season.
I was happy about that, yeah.
It's really that was awesome. And also, sorry, Bobby, man, that was incredible how he just professed his love to Julia. But the thing I like the most about Bobby, he's so sincere. Well, even when he was wrong, he's a stand-up guy. He apologizes, and you could tell like that's the guy that you want in your corner. And I hope we get to see him down the road because he's a good dude.
I was happy he apologized like that. He definitely did the right thing, and I think he put it all behind him with that genuine apology. I wanted to also just say, as you said, the charter guests were so awesome and so appreciative, and it was so nice to see that. I really liked them, and it was just that was really a nice moment, and that they called Chef Ben Jimi Hendrix of food. I thought that was really sweet. What did you guys think of Jen addressing her issues with Brian at the last second? I just felt that was a bit unnecessary.
Agreed.
You know, leave it on a nice note at this point. You don't have to work with him again if you don't want to. But why just be kind of a bitch at the last second? I don't know. I didn't really see the point in that. But maybe, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, also, like, she had already addressed her issues in that meeting, and he's going to watch the show, so it's like, there's plenty of times for her to voice her opinion about it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Michael?
I think you're right. There was a time and place, and they already did the meeting, and for the show's sake, give him a hug if it's fake, whatever, say goodbye, but it seemed like that was really unnecessary. Whether or not you like Brian, I get it. She was building up and stuff. It did seem a little unnecessary. It was kind of an interesting ride for Brian as a character this entire season. Started way up, and it's kind of been a continuous downward spiral. It seemed like he started to lose the females on the ship.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually really appreciated how he took their criticism because, we're not there. We kind of don't know the full story, right? But I think by him kind of taking it, hearing them, but also kind of defending, his work and his leadership, I thought he handled it really well. He could have gotten mad and kind of yelled at them or not, taken it all, but I thought he heard them. But I thought he also stood up for himself.
Yeah.
Agreed. So let's talk in our last few minutes about the whole season as a whole. And if there is a new season, which we have no idea, who should come back and who won't return? So first question I have for you, ladies, is who is maybe your MVP of the season? For whatever reason.
Hannah. I just love her. I think she's so genuine and sweet, and I think she looks out for, as you said, her crewmates when it comes down to it. And maybe she's a little tough at first, but I think it's only because she's probably hardest on herself. And I think she's really fun to watch and makes for great TV.
So Hannah, just because Ben said no, there's Angela.
Wow.
What about you, Jamie?
I think I'm going to go with Tiffany, which is really funny because I feel like if you watched our first episode, I feel like we were all kind of negative towards her, but I think it was just the actual situation. They were making her look lazy.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of changed my mind, like, as I saw her work ethic throughout the episode, the season. And I love that she was no drama. Like, I love that. Like, she never got involved. She just was so sweet and cheerful. So I'm on Team Tiffany.
And just because Maddie is not here, I'm going to say her MVP for
Bobby.
her. Bobby, obviously. So,
there you
Michael,
go. And
who's
so
yours?
you both went with the ladies, and Tiffany's been great. Hannah was great. Ben's a legend.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Chef Ben.
But Ben has been on multiple seasons. He's been across the board. So I'm going to give it to Bobby as well. I really liked Bobby's just honesty. He's a good dude. He the whole season, he fit in no matter what the situation. He dealt with Danny all season without really going overboard. The couple times we saw him, maybe be a little bit rough, he apologized to Julia. He's sincere about it. And I'll just say that I definitely think there's a female out there for Bobby.
Yeah,
Yes.
I hope he finds one soon.
Her
in
name
Florida.
is Maddie Conklin.
Just moved to,
She's in
needs to move
LA.
to Florida.
Yeah.
But I would love to know from you guys out there. Tweet us, let us know who was your MVP, because as you saw, the
Absolutely.
producers, everybody's hearing what we have to say. So if there's somebody you want to see back on the show, make your voice known and let us know, and we'll retweet it.
And to further
give a shout
that,
out.
let us know also who would you like to see come back? And what you just said, but also where you would like to see another season of Below Deck Mediterranean.
Yes.
Yes.
How it compares to the regular Below Deck.
Yeah.
And if you're a female and you're interested in Bobby, let them know.
Yeah.
Or any of the guys. for that matter.
Any of them, yeah. Let's get them some play. Now,
yeah.
let me start off with now, if there is another season, my prediction for who's back and who's gone.
Let's hear it.
I think that the people that are gone are Julia, Jen, Danny, and Brian. And I think that the returnees would be Bobby, Hannah, Tiffany, Ben, and Captain.
I think you're probably spot on. Potentially, I could see Brian back, but I definitely think Julia would not do another season. I definitely think Jen would be out. She wasn't really very involved with everybody. I think Captain Mark would come back. I don't know if you said Captain Mark.
Yes,
I
definitely.
thought he was a great presence, and I think the show needs some foundation and like a rock, and I thought that he kind of pulled everyone together really well. Definitely Danny would not come back. I don't think anybody would want to work with him. Hannah, I think, is a force, and Bobby, I think, too. And Andy Cohen had them on Watch What Happens Live, so I think he's obviously a fan of the two of them. Chef Ben, of course, is fabulous. And, we just spoke with Tiffany, and she says she's really enjoying what she's doing right now. So I think she's pretty serious about her career. I think that would be the main reason she wouldn't do it again. She strikes me as somebody that's like, I've kind of done that and checked my bucket list, and I don't know if she'd do it again. Hey, I'd love to see her back.
That's funny. I completely agree. I actually wrote down Ben, Hannah, and Bobby. So I guess we're kind of all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be sad.
We're going to miss everybody.
But I guess we can watch Below Deck in just a month or two. So that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I would say, for the producers, Nadine, who's ever watching, please make another season of Below Deck Mediterranean. We need it. You need it. Everybody watching needs it.
Yeah. Great show.
Yes, thank you guys for watching, and we're going to really miss you, but be sure to tweet us about Below Deck in the future. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JamieBanks_, and also on the Married at First Sight after show starting today at 11 p.m. And what other shows can they find you in
Hey
Twitter?
guys, so what's up? I'm Angela Struck, and you can find me on Twitter at @TheAngelaStruck and on Instagram and Snapchat at Angela Struck. And you can catch Maddie and I on the AfterBuzz Real Housewives of Melbourne TV show.
Ooh.
And forget the shows I'm on. I just want to say thank you to our producers, Alexis and Steven.
Yes,
they killed it all
thank you.
season.
They've been
Thank you to
awesome.
all of the guests from the crew, from Nadine to the charter guests and
To
everybody that joined us
Hannah,
all
to
season long in the
Bobby,
chat, in the
Michelle.
comment section. You guys all made the show what it was. So thank you guys so much. I'm Michael Rippe. You can find me all over social media at Mike Rips. It's right here. I'm around. I'll see you down the road.
Thank you guys. See
Bye,
you next
guys.
time. Hopefully season 2.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.